Jeff Gordon will start second today, and if ever a driver and team had all the tools and talent to contend for a win every week, this combination is one of the best to come along in years. They're good on every track we run, road course, short track, super speedway. Let's get his thoughts about this new super speedway and his chances to win today. Winston Kelly's with him.
And, Barney, they're particularly good at new racetracks. A couple of wins in inaugural events, 5 top 5. So I guess you got to like your chances with that second-place qualifying run to tie into all that.
Well, I'd like to be on the inside line there starting the race. But, yeah, up front is a great place to be. We've had a strong car all weekend long, and I hope we can bring it home, with a strong finish. But track position is going to be really critical, and here at the early stages, I think that inside line is going to be real important. And car's been working real good down there, so hopefully we can get down there and go to work.
You mentioned the outside groove. Your new teammate Jimmy Johnson ran the Busch Series race yesterday. Did you have a chance to talk to him to see if it is coming in?
I left a message because he had a good run. I was excited about that, but did not get a chance to talk to him. I think some of the guys on the team did. Some of the adjustments we made, we can't get too caught up in what the Busch guys do because there is a difference there. But we have been getting a little bit of information back and forth between those teams, and it's been helping us. But I'm real comfortable with the changes that Robbie and the guys made on the DuPont Chevrolet, and looking forward to getting this race going.
Well, if I was a betting man, I'd bet on him, but I'm not going to jinx him. Jeff Gordon rolls off second here this afternoon.
One distinction Jeff Gordon has here today, he's the only driver in anything other than a Dodge in the top 5. Jeff Gordon's in a Chevrolet. He's on the outside of row 1. Here comes the field for the start, and here's Barney Hall for the start of the Protection 1 400.
To tackle a brand new racetrack, green flag goes in the air. Jason Leffler on the break, who started on the pole, immediately pulls out front and immediately diving in behind him. He talked about getting single file as they work into the corner real quick. Was Jeff Gordon. He's able to pull it off.
And there's trouble in turn 1. Casey Atwood turns around, slides up the racetrack, and slams into the outside wall. Ricky Craven also spins. Problem for Sterling Marlin. He has to make a quick dive down to the grassy apron to avoid piling into both Atwood and Ricky Craven.
Field will race back to the line, and they will immediately see the first caution flag of the afternoon as they come off turn number 4.
Maybe I should have backed out a little bit. I knew from past experience with him, he wasn't going to give me much room going down into 1. But if I'd have backed out, let him in, we'd still be out there racing. But I don't think he should have cut down either.
That's Casey Atwood. They're back green on the speedway.
Field works off turn number 2 as they head down the back straightaway. Jason Leffler leads Jeff Gordon, Bill Elliott, Stacy Compton, and Johnny Benson.
Still gathering steam down the back straightaway. It is Jason Leffler in the lead as Gordon took a brief look to the inside. Now tucked in behind Leffler. Bill Elliott rides by himself in the 3rd spot. Stacy Compton is in 4th. Johnny Benson in 5th. They're single file off the corner.
I'd say that accident on the first lap a moment ago is going to make everybody a little bit leery in the early going. They're going to feel this racetrack out and really not do some really hard racing until they make sure exactly what their car is going to do. They go back to turn 2.
Here comes Jeff Gordon in second, closing up quickly behind Jason Leffler, the race leader. A car length separating the top 2 on the backstretch.
Jason Leffler continues to lead. Leffler bobbled a little bit over to the left. Gordon took a bright look, just a slight look to the right side. Nothing doing there. Bill Elliott continues to ride in 3rd. Good battle for the 4th spot. Stacy Compton has it. Johnny Benson wants it as they exit the turn.
And right behind Johnny Benson, Ricky Rudd. He starts closing in for the 5th position. Here goes Rudd down to the inside of Johnny Benson. Passes him at the start-finish line, so Rudd advances 1 position.
He's up into 5th. Kick Benson back into the 6th spot. Then a gap of 2 more car lengths. Tony Stewart in 7th. Now here goes a challenge for the lead.
And it comes from Jeff Gordon, who got a great bite coming off of turn 2. The crowd comes to their feet.
Trouble
Jeff
off turn
Gordon.
2. Buckshot Jones spins around and makes contact with the outside wall. He spins 3 times down the backstretch. Everyone else dodging left and right to get around the car of Buckshot Jones.
They'll see the caution flag when they race back to the line. The leader now is Jeff Gordon, taking it away, going down the back straightaway from Jason Leffler.
We are going back under the green flag here at the Kansas Speedway. 19 cars still on the lead lap. 72 to go. They're in turn 1.
Here comes Jerry Nadeau. He has the race lead, trying to break away from Rusty Wallace, who's back in 2nd. 2 car lengths separating the top 2. Then Jeff Gordon in 3rd. The top 3 all move on to the backstretch.
We have yet to see if anybody has anything for Jerry Nadeau. Again, Rusty Wallace closes the gap as they come into turn 3. Cuts it down to about half a car length. Jeff Gordon rides in the 3rd spot. The 4th place machine, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is still behind slower traffic.
Now, Jerry Nadeau took on fuel only, did not take on tires. There's probably 40 laps or more on his tires than there are on everybody else that pitted. Can he hold off Rusty Wallace? Rusty and Jeff Gordon get closer in turn 2.
Those two line up nose to tail right behind the race leader. Here's Rusty Wallace looking to the inside of Nadeau.
A Chevy, a Ford, and a Chevy occupy the top 3 spots. It's still Nadeau, but Rusty Wallace looms large in his mirrors. Jeff Gordon still holds down the 3rd spot. Dale Jr. about 6 car lengths back in the 4th position.
Let's check in with Adam Alexander at the Care Center.
And Michael Walter has made his way out of the infield Care Center. Michael actually talking to a couple of members of the crew here, and we'll see if we can't grab a word with Michael in just a moment.
All right, Michael falling out of the event after glancing off the wall here several laps ago up in turn number 4 in an incident that also involved the car of Dave Blaney. The race is for the 2nd spot halfway down the back straightaway.
Rusty Wallace was being patient, trying to wait to take a shot at the lead. Now he takes a brief look down to the inside. He had a good run on Nadeau. Nadeau shuts the door ever so slightly, but now Nadeau washes up as they exit turn 4.
Jerry doing everything he can to keep that car at the bottom of the racetrack and protect the groove to keep Rusty from getting underneath him and moving around. We talked about Dave Blaney being in that accident. Dave is able to continue. Michael Waltrip is out. The battle for the lead goes back to turn 2. Well, Rusty Wallace has done everything he can to get around Jerry Nadeau. He had a fender up there just a moment ago there in turn 3.
He still hasn't figured out the Jerry Nadeau puzzle. Jerry Nadeau goes down low, goes up high. Now Wallace has got the good run off of turn 4.
Rusty breaks to the inside, pulls even with Nadeau, beats him to the line. Rusty Wallace takes over again on lap 2:01. Nadeau about to lose the 2nd spot.
There's more company in the form of Jeff Gordon off the end of the front stretch. Gordon found the open lane thanks to Rusty Wallace. Moved Wallace to the lead, and now Gordon takes over 2nd.
You got the impression that Jeff Gordon was just laying back in 3rd. You're going to watch what Rusty Wallace did, and once Wallace dove by, so too did Jeff Gordon. So Jerry Nadeau down in the 3rd spot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has finally cleared the lap traffic.
Well, that was almost predictable that Jerry Nadeau, having quite a few more laps on his tires, taking only fuel a moment ago to keep track position and gambling out there, but still he's in a good position. If that next round of pit stops comes under caution for everybody, he'll still be in the thick of things, but although he's fallen back to 3rd for the moment, they're in turn 2.
Here come the leaders now back to the corner, all lining up behind Rusty Wallace.
Jeff Gordon making things very, very close from the 2nd spot, only about a car length, now making half a car length off the rear deck of Rusty Wallace. But Rusty not rattled, taking a nice even line all the way through turns 3 and 4.
Rusty Wallace leads Jeff Gordon, Jerry Nadeau, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Ricky Rudd.
Scramble for the lead gets a little bit tighter over there in turns 1 and 2, and then up to 3 and 4. Here they come off the corner. Rusty Wallace hangs on to the lead. Jeff Gordon is up there right behind him, and for the moment, Joe, you may have hit the nail on the head a little bit earlier. He's just keeping him in sight, kind of looking to where his car might be strong, weak, or whatever, and knowing that he's got a good a car as Rusty, and maybe he can win this thing.
Better believe he is checking out every move that Rusty Wallace is making. He'll skid an eyeful this time as they hit the back straightaway and close in on some slower traffic.
They're going to get around the car of Jeremy Mayfield down to the bottom. Interesting thing happened a couple of laps ago with the front 2 cars. Rusty Wallace opened the door and opened it wide to the inside of turn 3, almost allowing Jeff Gordon to take the lead if he wanted it. Jeff Gordon did not take the invitation. I really don't know what that means, but an interesting play in strategy here at turns 3 and 4.
They work their way back over into turns 1 and 2.
Also, we're about to find out how this race is going to play out here this afternoon. 23 laps to go as the pace car comes off turn number 4, makes the hard left turn down on pit road, and Ricky Rudd has lap traffic down to the inside, a bunch of it in the form of Terry Labonte, the first car up there. We're under green as they race down to the line. Mark Martin hangs with him this time. Mark almost bumped him a little bit at the start-finish line on Ricky Rudd. They all shuffle off down to turn 1.
Here comes Ricky Rudd charging back into the banking of turn number 1, trying to shake free of Mark Martin, but he's not going to be able to do it. In fact, here comes Mark Martin, a challenge for the lead.
Wheel to wheel and side by side down the back stretch. Mark Martin will try to take the lead here at Kansas Speedway, getting lots of drafting help from the 3rd spot of Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon goes to the inside of Rudd, so Gordon gets down 2nd. Mark Martin is your new leader.
Mark Martin shows the way off turn 4, but he's got company. Jeff Gordon is there, working to the inside. Gordon makes a run at him at the start-finish line.
Here comes Ricky Rudd behind him. Rudd wants to get back in the fray as well. Jeff Gordon scoots out in front of the field. He's the new leader. Rudd goes to 2nd, bypassing Mark Martin. All of a sudden, Martin finds himself back in 3rd.
Jeff Gordon trying to run away and high down the back stretch. Opens up a lead of about 3 car lengths over the 2nd spot of Ricky Rudd. 3rd is Mark Martin. Ryan Newman holds down the 4th position, but Gordon now holds down the lead as they exit off turn 4, headed back to the stripe.
Jeff Gordon simply was not going to be denied. He made a little contact with a couple of cars to get up there, but it paid off. He is the leader right now by 3 car lengths. Ricky Rudd did some hard driving to get himself back up there in second. Don't count him out yet. They go back to turn 2.
Here's Ricky Rudd now, and
Whoa.
now it's trouble in turn number 1. One car gets turned sideways and slides up hard to the outside wall. Dale Jarrett's car is the car that has slapped the wall in turn 1. Bobby Hamilton has to jump on the brakes and dive down to the inside, but the machine of Dale Jarrett sits in the middle of the banking. A lot of damage to the back end.
Lap 247 is when the caution will be displayed as they work their way off turn number 4 and back to the line. Dale Jarrett getting out of shape down in the corner. Terry Labonte will get his lap back on the leader. Let's go back to turn 2. An extra, $60,000 for Jeff Gordon if he wins, leading the Winston Cup points in the Winston leader bonus here. $60,000, I think, on the grabs. That's not too bad.
$60,000 on top of the posted awards of $3,996,953. Of course, he'll get a significant share of that if he can pull off the win here today. And probably as important as that, if not more, is building up that championship point lead even more over Ricky Rudd. It now stands at 212, although Ricky is right behind him getting ready for this restart here, and that won't be a significant jump for Jeff Gordon. He wants to continue to build up points as much as he can and try to keep that gap as big as he can between himself and Ricky Rudd. It's Gordon, Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin, Ryan Newman, and Sterling Marlin. That's the front 5 as we get ready to go back under the green flag. Those are the cars on the lead lap getting ready for the green flag.
Robbie Gordon will be the first car down inside the leader. Jeff Gordon a lap down. Green goes in the air, and Gordon is gone. Ricky Rudd will try to stay with him. He gets away from Ricky by about a half a car length as they go to turn 1.
Here comes Jeff Gordon into the corner now. Opens up by a car length and a half on Ricky Rudd, who manages to clear the lap car of Robbie Gordon. And then comes Mark Martin. He's sandwiched back in line in the third.
Only 2 cars cleared the lap traffic of Robbie Gordon. That would be Jeff Gordon in the top spot, Ricky Rudd in second. Mark Martin bogged down in the 3rd position. Hot on his bumper is Ryan Newman in the 4th spot. And Jeff Gordon and Ricky Rudd are tearing away.
Rusty Wallace working the outside lane, trying to storm back up to this field and become a contender for the win here this afternoon. Wallace crosses the stripe.
Whoa, we got trouble. Jason Leffler gets out of shape coming off turn number 4, spins around and slaps the wall just as he came down to the start-finish line, and caution comes back on the speedway immediately. Leffler looked like he might have got a little help just as he came off turn number 4 and swung into the front straightaway. Bounced off the outside wall, doesn't make contact with anybody else. It didn't appear he did anyway, and now the car has come to rest up against the wall here down toward turn number 1. And we're under caution for the 13th time today.
Here is Robbie Gordon racing Jeff Gordon across the line. He'll get back on the tail end of the lead lap. They have stopped the cars on the back straightaway to try to get a green flag finish in this event. To the delight of the fans, this is a move that NASCAR has been utilizing for just about all of this season to assure a good finish. Here they come for the green flag.
Green flag goes in the air. Quick restart as they head down to turn number 1. Front 2 cars jump out ahead of everybody as they go to the corner. Jeff Gordon and Ricky Rudd.
And stacking them 3 wide. Here comes Sterling Marlin back in the 6th position. Manages to bypass Mark Martin. He's up to 5th. Here comes Marlin. He wants more. He's going up to 4th on the backstretch.
Down side by side with Rusty Wallace, wheel to wheel. This would be the fight for the 4th position. Sterling Marlin trying to take the line of choice. No, Rusty will beat him into the corner. But up at the top, it's Jeff Gordon holding off a couple of 4s as they exit off of turn 4.
Gordon brings the field back down to the line. Ricky Rudd just behind him by 2 car lengths. Just a car length back to Ryan Newman, who rides in 3rd.
Then there's a gap of some 8 car lengths back to Rusty Wallace. So Wallace, now that he has managed to fend off the challenge of Sterling Marlin, tries to set to work to catch up to the top 3.
Ricky Rudd slides off just a little bit as he comes off of turn 2, giving Ryan Newman the good look to the inside, and Newman will take away the 2nd spot here at Kansas. So now Ryan Newman sets his sights on the leader, Jeff Gordon.
Ryan Newman didn't hesitate a moment when Ricky Rudd kicked up just a little bit off turn number 2. He simply drove underneath him and now has grabbed 2nd place away as they swing across the line and go back into turn number 1. Ricky is back in 3rd place, and Rusty Wallace is on the move from 4th.
Here comes Rusty now, diving down into the corner. Further ahead, here's Ryan Newman. Now that he's up to 2nd, he's trying to catch Jeff Gordon.
Top 5 cars have broken away from the rest of the field, and they are evenly spaced. Jeff Gordon in the top position. Ryan Newman now starts to close the gap from 2nd. It's Ricky Rudd in 3rd. Rusty Wallace in 4th. Sterling Marlin a very close 5th.
The front of the field, it is Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, They work out of turn number 4, head back to turn number 1. Does Ryan Newman have the car and the experience maybe to pull it off? They go back to 2.
Here comes Newman's blue and white Ford right down to the bottom side of the racetrack, but Jeff Gordon has him at least for now by 3 car lengths.
You get the impression that Jeff Gordon is pushing it just a little bit, trying to stretch his advantage over Ryan Newman, and he does so now by only 2 car lengths into turn 3. Ricky Rudd has his hands full from the 3rd spot. Rusty Wallace looks down low.
Rusty doing everything he can. White flag comes out for the leader this time. Jeff Gordon, he has an advantage of 3 car lengths on Ryan Newman, a bigger advantage than that on the rest of the field. They go to turn 2.
Ricky Rudd managing to hang on to 3rd for now. Rusty Wallace takes another shot at him, but the leader, Jeff Gordon, is on the backstretch.
Final time down the backstretch and into turn 3. It looks like Jeff Gordon is headed for victory. He has a lead of about 3 car lengths over the 2nd spot of Ryan Newman. Battle for 3rd is wheel to wheel between Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd.
Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Sterling Marlin going at it as Jeff Gordon comes to the line and wins the Protection 1-400. Best career finish, a 2nd for Ryan Newman to pit road.
Let's get a word from the car owner, Rick Hendrick. Rick, seems like the cream always rises to the top at the right time.
Man, what a day. It's a lot of fast cars out there, but he drove a good race, had a good car, and just glad it's over.
Car owner Rick Hendrick and his team go to victory lane with Jeff Gordon.
Let's go to victory lane.
Well, a lot of handshakes, hugs, and going on down here. Jeff Gordon, were you concerned really that you couldn't get by the first 2 when you're sitting 3rd there with a few laps to go on that lap, not the last restart, but the restart before that?
Oh, yeah, I was concerned because just before that, when we took off, Rudd really was in clean air and just took off, and I said, man, I made the wrong decision because I told these guys we needed 2 tires. Robbie wanted to go with none, and luckily that caution came out. That pretty much saved us because Rudd got loose or got wide in the first turn, and Mark Martin got underneath him, and I just followed him, and then I got underneath Mark. It was a heck of a race. We were having a lot of fun out there, and just want to thank God and DuPont and everybody on this race team that makes this possible. Pepsi, Fritos, Quaker State, GMAC, Delphi. It was just a great, great day for us. We hope that all the Kansas City fans enjoyed that one today.
Did Mark being in front of you help you make that pass easier?
Well, he helped me make the pass on Rudd, yeah, because he got Rudd wide off of 2, and I just followed, kind of pushed him a little bit, and I think I was on him so hard getting into 3 that he probably got in there a little hot, and he tried to protect the bottom, but I think our 2 tires were finally starting to come in there, and I turned and got underneath them. It was pretty wild crossing the start-finish line. I didn't want to get into Mark. I love racing him, but I didn't want to spin him, and we were pretty tight there, and I had to get down the apron, but made the pass, and then I saw Rudd come through there, and man, he was closing right in on me. So that last restart, I didn't know what was going to happen. Then I saw Newman get by Rudd, and I said, oh, boy, here we go again. You know, just it's never ending until that last lap. But my car was really good right there at the end. We're really happy we did what we did.
Earlier in the race, I listened to you a lot. You weren't really too far off base the entire race, didn't seem like.
Well, we were pretty tight early. Boy, Bill Elliott sure was strong. His car would just turn up off of 4 and just shoot down the straightaways. And Rusty, once he got out front, that power down the straightaways held him the lead. But I tell you what, those last adjustments that Robbie and these guys made, I just can't say enough for this crew and this team. They're so incredible. Great pit stops all day. And, this is the type of team effort that's gotten us where we're at right now, and we just can't wait for the remaining races. But great call, by Robbie all day and the adjustments, and the car just got better and better as the race went on.
And what he means by that is a run for another championship. That's Jeff Gordon. He wins the first race here at Kansas.
Let's take a look at the rundown. Jeff Gordon wins his 6th Winston Cup race of the season.
Well, he's done it again. He's won at a racetrack in an inaugural event. It's the 3rd time it's happened. It happened in Indianapolis, it happened in California, and it happens today here at the Kansas Speedway. Jeff Gordon wins for the 6th time this year.